Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates, another Game Week preview. It's Game Week 9, and wow, the lead up to Game Week 9, I think it's fair to say, has been a little bit hectic and a little bit sort of controversial maybe in the FPL sort of community. It's been a bit crazy, hasn't it, the build up to this Game Week?
Yeah, but to depict it all and talk it through, brought on a special guest this week. It's none other than FPL Penguin. Welcome him on. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, lads. Thank you so much for having me on again. Hope you're doing good.
Yeah, all is good over here. So, do you want to tell us a bit about what you do and what you're involved in the FPL community and stuff like that?
I've been around in this community for nearly 3 years and love every minute of it. Great chatting to people like yourself in the FPL community. Have me on YouTube channel, FPL Penguin. And that's it, really. Just post out stats that I can find and just enjoy the game that I've been playing for 14 years now.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you haven't already, FPL Penguins links are in the description below. So go check them out. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff are down there. So really good content. I think you came on last season as well, didn't you, onto FPL Friday? So you're a returning member.
Yeah. I'm back.
Brilliant.
Right, so, we may as well get into it because everyone's been asking all the questions leading up to it. So we'll show sort of our teams, go through what we've been doing, the transfers we've made. And should we just dive straight in? I can dive into my team if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So I'll just get the screen share up. I've already made my transfers, which is unusual. If you guys know me pretty well, I never make transfers, before the Europa League's finished, but I think it's fair to do it now. This is how my team is set up for this week. So, Melier in goal as per usual. Hopefully, me and Josh, we've backed him to the hill. So hopefully he starts returning a bit more consistently. In the back line, we've got a double up on the Chelsea lads in defence. Obviously, we saw, if Christensen had got that goal this weekend against Norwich, that would have been very ideal. But we've got Azpilicueta in there, who I think is 100% nailed on in that Chelsea defence. We've also got Livramento, fantastic fixture against Burnley, and Ben White as well, who, we keep him in. He comes about. Arsenal were a bit poor defensively against Palace, but we move. The first transfer in that I'm going to talk about is Kai Havertz. I've brought him in this week. A lot of hype for him over on FPL Twitter, talking about him because he's going to be playing out of position, and an £8 million asset, or 8.1 million, playing up front is just too good to ignore. So I've brought him in for this week. Ben Rama's the one that's had to go. I've been saying to Josh, and I've been saying on the streams for the past couple of weeks that, I'm not quite happy with the returns that I'm getting from Ben Rama. He's playing well and just not getting the return. So I've bitten the bullet. I think he was the one that I wanted to get rid of the most. So Havertz has come in potentially just for 3 game weeks going forwards. But, the 3 fixtures that Chelsea have got, they're so fantastic. Salah is my captain at the moment. I've gone very safe, very boring. Mo Salah captain. You can't go wrong. I think, his expected ownership's probably going to be over 150% again. So I'm happy captaining him this week and not having to worry about it too much. I've still got Bruno Fernandes in. He's survived another week on the chopping block. Not sure how he's still my team. It's a similar situation to last year, wasn't it, Josh, where a certain Riyad Mahrez couldn't get out of my team. So we'll see what happens there. Rafinha as well. People were asking me on the TikTok live, should I sell him? Absolutely not. Leeds are a completely different team when Rafinha's in it, and they look, fantastic going forwards with him in there. And then up top, the other transfer in, Jamie Vardy, who I brought in for Lukaku, who obviously, unfortunately, got injured yesterday. I brought in Vardy because I think I prefer him over the next 3 game weeks to Harry Kane. I think there's more potential for him to return higher. Obviously, from game week 12, Harry Kane has some fantastic fixtures, so I might look to bring him in, maybe even on a wild card during that next international break. And Antonio up front as well. David Moyes confirmed pre-match that he's being rested, being prepared for their big game against Tottenham at the weekend. And then on the bench, it's not a very strong one this week on the bench. We've got Duffy and Sissoko sort of there in case one of my players doesn't play, maybe someone like one of the Chelsea boys. But yeah, that's how we'll set up this week. FPL Penguin, what are your thoughts on my team?
It's a nice team. Havertz, a lot of people going through after seeing, Twitter going meltdown after that Lukaku injury, as they were praying that he wouldn't start or play against Malmo before that game. I think Havertz is a lovely pick. I mean, he's destined to obviously start now in that centre role, that false number 9 role. And I think he's, I wish I could get him in. I wish I could. But I think Havertz is a lovely one. He could get you, double digits in that game against Norwich. So, but yeah, overall, Fernandes in there, he's probably doing a bit more better than Ronaldo, if I dare say. But yeah, Rafinha in there, defence looks tight. Azpilicueta, Christian, Livramento, still a lovely cheap one to go for against Burnley. Got White in there. Arsenal seem to be getting, in the last couple of games, those clean sheets. So if you've owned an Arsenal defender or Ramsdale, or both of them, you've been over the moon with the points. You've been getting the clean sheets. So yeah, it's very, very good. You got, I believe, is that Vardy up front? You said?
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, Vardy up front. I can see something. I think Vardy's in form, unlike Lukaku and Ronaldo, who just kind of fizzled out a bit. But I think Vardy can definitely hurt Brentford, and I think he could get a double-digit haul. That's without captain against Brentford. I think he could be the one that breaks them this week. It's my bold pick.
Josh, what are your thoughts? Are you sort of thinking similar, or can you pick apart my team here?
I usually do, but no, I think with the news that you've got, I think you made the right decisions. It's going to be interesting with Havertz because although, he's playing up front, I think Chelsea just in general just lack creativity, and we've seen that in the past few weeks. Like even Lukaku's not even managed to score, get an assist or anything like that. So hopefully, maybe with a change up top, that they maybe become more creative and have to try and score. But Norwich is just the perfect fixture. Like surely they're going to score a few against them. So yeah, really nice pick there. I love Vardy. Thinking about getting him in myself, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. I think Bruno, like you said, FPL Penguin, I think he's the better pick than Ronaldo at the minute. It'll be interesting to see who takes the next penalty. I think that'll sway it one way or the other because I still think Bruno, from my point of view, will be on them. It was a bad miss, but he's just so reliable 9 times out of 10. I think that's his second miss ever, and we all know how many penalties he's had for United. So, yeah, really nice team. Love the Rafinha pick too. I'm jealous of that one.
Yeah, I mean, Bruno's for me, he's been ticking along with 5 pointers here and there. Obviously, you want to be having more from an asset that's that expensive, but at this point, there's other things that I wanted to do with my team, and I think having Bruno in there, it's decent coverage, and he's very low owned. So if he does get a big haul, he's still that same player from last season that was hauling massively, and he could easily do that again. So United have got tough fixtures, but as we saw last season, United played better when they played against better opposition. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Should we move on to Josh's team, and then we'll save the best till last?
Yeah, we'll move on to mine. I haven't made any transfers so far this week. It's all in the air, really. Still not sure what to do. Obviously, the transfer I was thinking about is getting Lukaku in, but obviously him being out now sort of throwing that into jeopardy. So, yeah, we started with Meslier in goal. Obviously, as Ben mentioned, we've had him since the start. He's not really been as good as what we thought, but he has got some good fixtures coming up in his next 3 or 4. It's Wolves this week, Norwich next week, and then they go to Leicester and Tottenham. So he gets a bit more weaker that side. We've still got Luke Shaw somehow. I think Luke Shaw owns me, not the other way around at this stage. With 0 pointers and everything at the minute. Liverpool at home, he's potentially on the chopping block as a transfer route, but I'll come to that at the end. Christensen's in there. Transferred him a couple of weeks ago, got the clean sheet last week. I'm hoping he starts this week. Norwich at home is almost like a banker for the clean sheet at the minute. Chelsea, I think 60-something% likely to keep a clean sheet this week. Livramento's in there. Burnley at home, really nice fixture for them. Salah's on the captaincy against United at the minute. It's just what's annoying me about this week is just obviously Lukaku was the standout captaincy, and now I feel like you're just dicing with danger if you don't really captain Salah. I feel like he's going to be the go-to guy, and if he does score and get a couple of points, there's not a lot of fixtures this week where you say, yeah, he's going to go and do some damage there. It's a bit risky. De Bruyne is the next player. Obviously, brought him in last week, 11-point haul against who did they play? Who did they play last week? City.
Burnley.
Burnley, that was it. So yeah, Brighton away this week. Obviously, Brighton a lot more stronger defensively than Burnley. So we'll see if he 1 plays and 2 hauls. Sar's up next. Everton away. I was saying to you, FPL Penguin, before the show. He is obviously, I've took him through that Liverpool game now. So there's a couple of easier fixtures than that at the minute, like Everton and I think Southampton, I said. So I'm tempted to keep at the minute. See how Ranieri does against maybe lesser opposition than a Liverpool, and hopefully he maybe picks up some results. Benrahma's still in here. I think I said to a few people this week, he's either 2 points or 10 points. There's nothing in between with Benrahma, and when you look through his history, it literally is the case of that. It's 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and then 10, 12s all over the place. But yeah, not really returned since those first couple of game weeks. But again, it's just one of those things where I've had more important transfers to make, so he's sort of just stuck in there. Similar to your Bruno pick, Ben. Chris Wood's in there. Obviously, brought him in alongside Christensen for that Norwich game. Didn't really pay off, but they do have a couple of good games. It's a big differential as well if Burnley do something against Southampton. Ronaldo's up top still. He's, again, maybe someone who I'd look to transfer out with those tough fixtures coming up, but he does love a big game as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that Liverpool game. I think I could sway a lot of people's game weeks, the Man United-Liverpool game, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. Raul Jimenez against Leeds. Obviously, Leeds still got a few injuries. No Bamford, no Ayling still. They're out for the next 2 games, I think Bielsa said. So hoping he can get some goals again, because he's benched last week, which was quite disappointing due to like the international fatigue. So I'm hoping he comes back with a bang. And if you thought your bench was bad, Ben, look at mine. We literally just have Duffy City at home, which is obviously not really an option. Ayling's still there again because of more important transfers, and Gilmore is also out, who can't play against Chelsea because it is his parent club. So yeah, that's the team. What's your thoughts, boys?
I'll start off. I think it's good. Nice defense. Sure. You got to see how he does against Liverpool. I know you're a Man United fan. Is it Josh? Who's a Man United fan? I'm a Liverpool fan. I was talking to a lot of people about this, and obviously we'll get to my team in a minute, but I just see it being a tight game. I don't know why. I think it's a lot of the seasons, it's always a tight game, United Liverpool, and I just feel on odd seasons, and I feel the Old Trafford crowd will be up for this. I'm just not that hyped. Even though he's over 60% owned, Salah, I don't know. As I said, we'll talk about my team soon, but I don't know. I don't know how that game's going to go. I'd like to think as a Liverpool fan we could get the win, but I don't think it'll be as easy, in my opinion. I don't think it will, but I think that over 60% does worry me a lot. It really does. But yeah, you got Jimenez, you got Wood in there. Chris Wood's still a very good player. You got Livramento versus Wood, so that's going to be interesting. Ronaldo in there as well, but you're thinking about your transfer wise. But yeah, Ronaldo, he's just like we were talking about earlier. He's kind of fizzled out a bit, hasn't he? That dream second debut against Newcastle, and he's just kind of fizzled out, just like Lukaku. So yeah, but the midfield's nice. Sarr, maybe Watford might turn things around. Everton are always dodgy. They were dodgy at home last season. They even lost to Sheffield United at home. Was it last season or the season before? Yeah, and I think Sarr's still a lovely pick versus Everton. I think because with Decore out, he's like that holding, like attacking player, Decore, and he's not playing against his old club as well. So I think Sarr's still a lovely pick. I think Benrahma's still a lovely pick as well, because he's I think he's benched tonight in the in this European competition they're in, West Ham. So that's a good sign for you guys, for you, mate. And but Benrahma versus Spurs, I think Spurs just look absolutely dodgy. I mean, they lost 1-0 tonight, but fair enough, they had a 50-50 side out. But I still think Spurs look dodgy. I really do. So I think West Ham could hurt them. So I think you've got a good team still. So yeah.
Awesome. Ben, what do you think? Are you going to rip it apart?
Well, I'm obviously going to say that I think I prefer my team at this point. Obviously, you're very much a better rank than me at the moment. You're sort of 26,000 or something?
15, I think, yeah.
15. Wow, even better than I thought. I know we've been talking about like the wildcard situation probably going to be in the lead up to game week 12 that you pulled the trigger, but I just wanted to know, I'm wondering, has the thought of hitting that wild card a little bit earlier crossed your mind yet? Because obviously you've got you've got a couple of injuries on the bench, players who are not playing, and maybe rotation risks in the sort of Christensen, points risk with Luke Shaw as well. Has it crossed your mind to hit that wild card, or have you kind of like maintained that you're happy with your team right now up until when you could wild card over that international break?
Yeah, it's definitely crossed my mind 100%. Obviously, having a couple players like Aylings, especially having a defender out is a bit frustrating, and obviously Christensen's going to get rotated any week. Luke Shaw's lack of points. We got De Bruyne may even get rotated. We're not even sure with that yet, to be honest. So yeah, there is obviously risk there, but I think for me personally, there's not a lot of major changes that I'd like to make to this team. I don't think there's a lot of points that I would be chasing wildcarding, say, this week. If I was to bring in, I don't know, Ben White for Ayling, for example, I don't think that would be a tremendous upside. Like, for me personally, I don't know if I would play Ben White maybe even ahead of Shaw, because I think Shaw's still got great attacking potential. He's still on set pieces. We've seen United score from a corner against Atalanta, for example. So I think Luke Shaw, better days are coming, but it's just, I wouldn't hold on to him. I think he's one of the players that I'd look to transfer out this week, maybe I think I can afford Kyle Walker and I can afford Reece James. Again, rotation risk, but I think you'd be chasing the upside, especially against a team like Norwich. Obviously, Lukaku not being in there is annoying with Reece James, because those two, just whenever Reece James and Lukaku play, I think they're a great combo to have for Chelsea. So it's going to be interesting. I'm still very unsure what I'll be doing my transfer this week.
Yeah, that was going to be what I was going to ask you about, like the transfers, because do you have one or two? Is it
just the one? And I don't really want to take a hit. Yeah.
I don't think, like, at this point, like, I mean, I've only taken one hit this season, and it's like I've kind of been like, was it really worth it? Yeah. Probably not. But yeah, decent team overall. Should we move on to FPL Penguins team?
Yeah, I'll just get it up now. Should be in the DMs. There we are. So here it is. I don't know if you can see that okay. Let me know.
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you want to speak for your team, and what's your thoughts going into the next game week?
Well, I've taken a free transfer. I've done a free transfer. Brought in Vardy for Cristiano Ronaldo. Like I said, kind of fizzled out a bit, getting sick of him. And I actually did this move before the Lukaku injury because I don't know why. I just decided... I'm known for doing my transfers. This is last season and season before, but I think this is the first time this season where I've done my transfer early. But yeah, the Lukaku injury hitting, it's obvious it's not going to play unless there's some Tuchel shuffle going on and somebody does start. But I'll have Marcel come off the bench for Wolves and go to a 4-4-2. I'm not looking to take a hit. I've taken one hit this season. And that was bringing Foden in for the game against Burnley. Got a return in that. It was taking Fornals out. So I'm looking not to take another hit for a while now. I'm currently ranked 40k. Buzzing to be this high up. Never been this high up. So I'm just enjoying the adventure, the journey. So, but yeah, I like it, and it's going to be interesting. Like I'm talking about with no Decore and still no DCL, how Everton are going to do against Watford. Gray, Townsend, are they still going to be good picks? I've had Townsend for like 2 to 3 game weeks now. I've had Gray longer. I was on shout out to FPL Juice. We were talking about Everton assets, showing them my team, and Gray, he's gets right forward, doesn't he? He's just like in the middle. He's just very attacking, and that's what really attracted me to get him as an asset to. He just looks really, really good. Maybe they do need DCL back. DCL being that lone striker and getting those balls to him and him finishing them off. But yeah, I got double Chelsea defense as well. Azpilicueta hoping for another cheeky assist. Livramento in there, like you lads. Foden. He went off in the 60-something minute in the Champions League. Yeah. I'm just praying, but it's typical Pep. I was telling, like saying Ash and Nick from Juice, that it's hard to break down Pep Guardiola. His mind. He's just you can't get into his head and find out who's going to start. I mean, I wish we could, but he's frustrated us for seasons and seasons. But I'm hoping with Torres still out. He does start against Brighton, who knows? But I'm not taking a hit, like I said. But captains wise, it does worry me. With Josh going, and you're a Man United fan, you're captain Salah, so that's like, oh my god, you know what I mean? I am tempted because, like I said, over 60% owned. Then I might just change it. I mean, believe my team as well, but I just can't see us running right. I mean, we have done it in the past. I mean, over a decade ago, back in the Steven Gerrard days and stuff. But I'd love to think we can do it again as a Liverpool fan. And that game is after the Leicester game, isn't it? It's the last game of the
of the week.
Yeah. So it'd be, I probably might do it, mate. If you're doing it and you're a Man United fan, I might end up doing it as well. So, but yeah, that's how I'm lining up. And bench one, I've used my wild card already, like I said to Josh earlier. But yeah, that's it really. That's it really. So I'll probably just change the captaincy. That's probably the only change I'll make going into this game week. So yeah. And Marcel coming on.
It's a really good team. Obviously, if there was no Lukaku injury, he'd be looking great this week. I like the Gray and Townsend picks, although there's obviously injuries in that team. I think they're two of their talisman at the minute. Especially, I've always backed Townsend since the start of the season. Our friend Kieran Wright, he's an Everton fan. He's always like Gray over Townsend, but it turned out Townsend's got more points this season. He just gets those like goals and assists that you just wouldn't expect him to get from like set pieces and things like that. They're not maybe the flashiest of goals or nicest of goals, but he always gets them. We've seen it over the years for Palace and stuff like that. So I think he's a really nice pick. Like Foden as well. Like you said, 62nd minute. He was playing the false nine as well, which is quite promising. So hopefully maybe he plays there again for you. I'm hoping De Bruyne plays alongside him. So they both came off at the same time. So you'd think, I'm not even going to double chance it and get my hopes up, but I think you think they'd both play this week but you never know with Pep. He's just absolute menace. What's your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, that Chelsea double up is really nice. Like,
yeah,
I look at mine and go, yeah, it's decent, but like Rudiger as well, like that, I'm pretty jealous of that. Obviously, you got a bit of a goalkeeper conundrum as well this week with obviously Ben Foster playing against your two Everton assets. Are you kind of hoping then with Sanchez that he can get some save points in there? Because obviously you've got like a clash all over the shop with your goalkeepers. Obviously Foden against Brighton as well. So what are you sort of hoping for from your goalkeepers?
I was considering Foster, but like I said, like you just mentioned, Gray and Townsend, and I just think I can't be bothered with that. Yeah. I mean, Sanchez to me for a while is going to be a set and forget until probably I do my second wild card. When we do get that. But, I never know. Brighton have looked pretty decent, haven't they? I mean, I probably hope for some save points. I have to see. It might be a 1-0 Man City. Maybe Sanchez will just rack up them save points. Who knows? But I'd rather go for Sanchez over Foster this week and see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your captaincy pick as well. I know you're probably going to be switching between the two for the next few weeks, but that Vardy captaincy could be a really good option. We've seen Brentford; they go at teams a bit kind of like Leeds last season, in which they're just going to try and score more than you. And I think Vardy could definitely capitalise on that with their new system that they're playing. They're obviously playing the 3-5-2 now, so Vardy up top, good rich vein of form. I mean, the whole Salah situation has pushed us all into like the same boat where if you're not captaining him, you could be like really in the mud by the end of the game week if he gets a couple of goals. Because obviously he's in red hot form. I don't think Josh will mind me saying that isn't a definite possibility. But yeah, I really like that team overall. Marcel on the bench is a strong bench option as well. If you do have someone not playing, I assume if you don't transfer out Lukaku or anything, then he'll come in. So that's a really good option to have off the bench.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll move on to the next segment of the show, and it's Ben's favourite segment of the show, I do believe. Yeah,
I love this part of the show. Let me just. I've lost the. Hang on, I've lost the banner. I'm gonna create the banner again.
Anticlimactic as always.
Yeah, sorry.
Please don't put me through that quiz again. Like a few months ago, remember that quiz? Test your guest.
As soon as I put that up, your face dropped. It dropped. But yeah, Josh, do you want to explain my favourite segment and usually the guest's least favourite segment? Not too sure why that is of this show.
Yeah, so FPL Penguin's going to have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as he can about FPL and Liverpool-related questions. Obviously, you're a Liverpool fan, so we'll throw that in there. There have been a few curveballs this season. Ben's been getting difficult questions out of the bag. So I think our highest score so far is maybe 3 or 4, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's more than 4, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
There's some tough ones in there. So, if you get them right, then you're probably doing well.
Right, I've got the timer ready. Ben, are you ready?
Oh,
yeah, I'm ready. Remember, if you think you know the answer to the questions, put them in the comments to see how many you can get right as well, guys. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Other than Mo Salah, which Liverpool asset has the most FPL points so far this season?
Trent.
Sadio Mane. How many Premier League goals does Salah have in the league this season?
Oh, jeez. I'm going to say 10.
7. How many clean sheets have Liverpool kept in the Premier League so far this season?
I'm going to say 8.
5. 2 players have received more than 1 yellow card in the Premier League so far this season. Name one of those players.
Oh, wow. Matip.
Milner or Fabinho. Who has produced the most expected assists for Liverpool this season, according to Fantasy Football Hub?
Jeez. I'm going to say Robertson.
Mo Salah. Who is the most transferred out Liverpool asset this week?
Hang on, it will come to me. I know it.
We'll let you answer it. We'll let you answer it.
Hang on, I thought I knew it. Thanks for putting me on pressure, lads. Under pressure. Oh, jeez. I'm going to say something really stupid here. I'm going to say, oh my God. Is it Trent?
It's not. It's Jota.
Jota. Oh, Jota, yeah.
To be fair, there was a few there that I would not have even had a clue against. Yep. So
0 again.
we have made them very tough, and the pressure it's so high. But yeah, which I'd say there were some really difficult ones in there. I have been very harsh with them this year. Had to level it up after people just rattling off like all 11, the questions, and I was running out of questions. So it's a 0-pointer. We move. Let's just move on and sort of talk about the stats going into game week 9. What we can sort of expect going into this.
Yeah, indeed. So obviously we've been speaking about a few different options, and obviously the main person that I think people will be looking to get rid of is Lukaku this week. We'll come to you first, Penguin. Who would you go for? Obviously, you've got Vardy in your team. Do you think he's the better option going forward instead of Kane? Obviously, Kane's been spoken about a lot. A lot of people want Tony as well. So let's just take away price for the moment. Who would you say is the top 3 options for Lukaku replacements so far?
I definitely wouldn't say Kane. He's just been so poor, and just to not make it so long about Kane, I just think his head's not in the right place. Since the City move in the summer, that didn't go through. I'm not a fan of him, to be honest with you. I think I don't get the big hype about Harry Kane, to be honest with you. And Vardy's up there. Maybe look at players like, is it Hwang Chang-hee or something?
Yeah, Hwang Hee-chan.
Yeah, check the way around. And he's a good one. He seems like a decent one. A lot of people opting for him over Jimenez. But I was when I was considering probably doing a hit for Lukaku out, I was looking at some forwards. Hayes is there, but he's all about rotation. Just the Wolves fella, Vardy. I don't know. So a lot of them that fizzled out, like Danny Ings, he's fizzled out now. He was definitely one at the start of the season when he moved to Villa. Everybody was eyeing him up. But then he kind of got obviously known for his injuries and stuff, very unfortunate. But I can't really think of many forwards. But as like a lot of people have talked about in the past season, it's all about the midfield. The midfield. I know the midfield you get more points when they get a return. I just fancy the midfielders rather than the forward line. If I was like, I wouldn't mind going like for a 5-man midfield if I was making a draft. I was making. I just feel like the midfielders are more appealing, like the Brentford fella Mbuemo. He's a very good one, and Sarr when he has good fixtures. I'm not really too hyped. If we take away the premium strikers like Ronaldo, Lukaku, Kane, we're not going to throw him in there. You know what I said about him, but midfield, I just prefer. If you take away those premium strikers, there's not many that interests me. Compared to the midfielders at the minute. I don't know what you lads think.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because obviously we've seen a lot of midfielders being played as strikers as well at that mid to low tier price point. I think we saw Sarr, he was the most advanced against Liverpool, so maybe he's getting moved up front for Ranieri's system. Obviously, Mbuemo playing higher up the field than Tony for $1 million cheaper. So I can see your point 100%, especially underneath the premium bracket when Lukaku and Ronaldo aren't firing 100%. Like for me personally, I've got Ronaldo in there, and with Lukaku now out, it's like, do I really want to take him out? Because I feel like everyone knows that he could score whenever. Like it's just a matter of Ronaldo just always seems to pop up at some stage. It's just inevitable. So yeah, it's one of those for me. Like if I take him out, I just know he will score eventually. I need someone like that, like a Jamie Vardy, who's proven it this season that he's just scoring goals a lot. I think it's interesting to see who will start out of Daka and Iheanacho. Obviously, Daka scored 4 in Europa League last night, which is insane. Like, if he doesn't get a start in the Premier League, I don't know what he needs to do, because that's insane. Obviously, Iheanacho's played well as well. At 7 million as well, Iheanacho, I think, it's a bargain if he's going to get consistent starts. What's your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I know with FPL Penguin, you've made your thoughts about Kane very, very clear. To be honest, I can see your point in that, he's not playing as well as, we expected him to. Obviously, that move didn't go through. But I think the same could be said about every single Tottenham player this season. They've not been great overall as a team. And I think that's what's putting a lot of people off. I think the next 3 game weeks, whilst the fixtures are still tough, Jamie Vardy's sort of that obvious pick to go for. It's the reason he's the most transferred in. But I could easily see, after that period of games that Tottenham is a bit difficult, it gets a lot easier. And, Kane, he's got his goals this season against the easier opposition. He's got his goal and assist against Newcastle. He got a hat-trick in the Europa Conference League. I think he definitely thrives playing against sort of the smaller teams and kind of doesn't maybe live up to playing well against the sort of bigger teams. So I could see Kane being a definite viable option from maybe game week 12. In terms of other options, for me, I think Ivan Toney does stand out as one that I know Josh said, he's $1 million more than Mbuemo, but obviously Toney's contributed 40% towards all the goals that Brentford have scored this season, which, I called it at the start of the season. He's going to produce numbers like that. And the more Brentford score and the more that they get comfortable in the Premier League, Toney's going to be involved. And he's a sort of bonus point magnet as well, because he brings other people into play. He allows Mbuemo to get further forward. So I definitely think, from that Brentford lot, you could probably pick like one of them and you'd be fine. It depends on your squad structure as well, like whether you can, fit Toney in. If you can't, maybe you drop one of your midfielders down. But yeah, I think in terms of other options, like you guys said, there isn't too much in terms of, attackers that I personally want on my team. I think I was only considering really Jamie Vardy as my replacement. So it just goes to show that is a little bit threadbare in terms of strikers on FPL at the moment.
Definitely. It's interesting to see. Someone's commented here, Aubameyang, obviously he's popped up with a couple of goals in the past couple of weeks. Would you think he's maybe an option? I feel for me, he's a little bit expensive. I think he's around 10 million. And I think for him, that is a bit too pricey. What's your thoughts, Penguin?
It was Aubameyang. It's been one of them that's just been a bit of a troll sort of player at Arsenal. What more can we say? I don't know. I remember last season when we were making drafts going into the 2021 season, and everyone was hyping up Aubameyang and stuff. I think they had Fulham. Yeah, when he was a midfielder, they had Fulham first game or something like that. And I think it was all about Willian when he pulled big against Fulham. And but I just don't know. He's not really, like I say, it's too expensive. Just to Arsenal. I mean, even Arsenal fans know what Arsenal like. I mean, it just Arsenal look dodgy as hell. So I probably would, if I was Arsenal players, I look at their defence. Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, what his name is, the 4.5 defender. I'm more interested in their defence rather than the attack, even though I'm not really interested to go for like the Smith Rowe and Saka, which a few managers have already. I'm more attracted to go to that defensive area for Arsenal. Because they look like they're getting those clean sheets now. I know they conceded 2 against Palace, but before that they were doing well with those clean sheets. So I'd be more interested to go to that part of the team instead.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think even if you get Smith Rowe, you're saving yourself, 4 million, if not more, compared to getting someone like Aubameyang. I think the returns probably would be matched over a long period of time too. Should we move on and answer a few questions from the comments? There's a lot of people asking about hits. I don't know if I speak for everyone, but I think this season, I think I've taken 1 hit. It definitely wasn't worth it, and I'll probably stay clear. I think that's been my motto throughout this season, is I'll only really take a hit if I need to, and like if there's an injury, if I can't field an 11 sort of thing. What's your thoughts on the hits, Penguin?
I've only taken 1 hit this season. I said I brought Foden in last game week. I'm in past seasons, I probably would just be taking a lot of hits. And last season was a bit of just a crap season for me. It was, I took too many hits. And like I mentioned again, FPL Juice, I mentioned to them that I've read 2 books. Shout out to FPL Raptor and FPL Obsessed. FPL Obsessed in particular, because he was saying, just think about before you take a hit, a -4, is it really worth it? Is that player you're bringing in for hit? You'll be hoping they'll be, bringing in those extra points, hoping that they probably get double figures to make that hit worthwhile. And it made me think, when I read that in July, it made me think that I need to stop taking these hits. So that was my strategy. So that's my strategy now, to not take hits unless absolutely necessary, because if you take so many hits each week, you're just going to go down, just like that. And so I'm trying now. I've already blown away my wild card. You've still got yours. So I'm going to use my second wild card wisely. I've still got all my chips. I am known for in the past, blowing away my, getting rid of my triple captain, all that jazz, the other chips as well, very, very early. But I'm planning to obviously save them for blank and the double game weeks next year. We know Chelsea have got something with this Club World Cup in December, but I probably will still save them going into next year when there's other big ones with the FA Cup, ties kicking and stuff. But yeah, I'm not looking to take as many hits this season, and I don't even feel tempted, to be honest with you. I can still find an alternative way, a more sensible way to go about it with my season so far.
Yeah, I think you're in the same camp as well, Ben, with hits in regard to.
I mean, realistically, me and you, Josh, both almost ruined our season last year with the amount of hits that we were taking. It was getting to a point where it was like once every 2 weeks we were like taking a 4 points. And I think it's shown this season, especially like people who have taken hits, it might not have worked. And there's very few that I've seen personally. I don't know if there's people out there that have taken hits and worked out, but for me, I've not seen too many where the hits have really worked out in their favour. And I think, the way you set up your teams, I feel like I'm in a lot better position this season than last season, and I'm taking, so many less hits. I took 1 this season. I think I brought in, it might have been Christensen or something who didn't even play. So, it's one of those ones where, and on the most part, it's probably not worth it unless, of course, like you said, there's injuries or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you summed it up quite nicely, Penguin. Like, you literally need a double-digit haul for that player to be almost worth it in a way, because obviously, like, that's why I don't get why people hit for defenders. Like, if you get, say, clean sheets to ceiling, which realistically with most defenders it is, say like bet you bringing in Ben White, for example, you're only then going to get 2 points plus side. That's if they keep the clean sheet as well, which is a high risk, obviously. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. We'll answer a few more questions. So if everyone wants to get theirs in the comments, we'll go through next maybe 5 minutes. Obviously, we're going for 40 minutes already. So yeah, we'll go with this one. Start Diaz or Gallagher. Obviously, Diaz has Man City. I'm not sure who Palace have. I'll get the fixtures up as we speak. Who would you go for?
Newcastle.
Newcastle. That's a good game then. Who would you go for, Penguin?
Diaz started in the Champions League, didn't he? I think.
Yeah.
It's pet rotation, isn't it? You just think it's going to be Laporte, Stones, and whoever. I personally would prefer Diaz. He still offers attack and returns. He proved it last season. He can score from a set piece. I'd go for Gallagher. I like the cheeky pun to go for Gallagher again. I think him and I'm going to call him Eddie up front for Palace. They're linking up well. I think he's very, very attacking, Gallagher. And Newcastle, been bought. God knows who they're going to buy in January. God knows how it's going to go for Newcastle. But I still see Palace winning in that game. And I think Gallagher could get a return in that game. So I know it sounds a bit bold, but it's hard to predict who Pep's going to start. Like I said, you're getting in the mind of Pep Guardiola. So I'd go Gallagher.
Yeah, I think it's the fixture really. Like that fixture, Newcastle fixture is unreal for them. They've obviously got no manager at the minute. Defensively as well, that's the reason why Newcastle haven't really been doing well. They've been actually all right going forward, I think, with Callum Wilson and Saint-Maximin, but it's just defence that lets them down. So I would go with Gallagher. I really like Palace as well. What's your thoughts, Ben?
If Salah didn't exist on FPL, I genuinely think there'd be a few people who'd captain Gallagher this week. Yeah. I think he's definitely the one to start over Diaz this week. Newcastle, what was it? They conceded like the second most expected goals out of anyone. So defensively, they're not too great at all. And I think he's a standout player this week, and one that could really get the people who own him rising up the ranks. I think he's a fantastic option this week, as is Edouard as well. I think he's been exceptional since he's come in. Obviously, he hasn't played probably as much minutes as he'd like, but once he settles down and gets into a rhythm of playing like 60, 70, 90 minutes, he'll be fantastic for Palace. Yeah,
definitely agree with that. We'll move on to another one. Mahrez to KDB. He has to take a -4. So again, we're talking about hits. For me personally, even though obviously De Bruyne is probably more rotation proof than Mahrez, I still probably would not make that transfer just for the fact that it's just such a sideways transfer. Like Mahrez could start and easily outscore De Bruyne. What's your guys' thoughts?
Like you just said, it's a sideways move. Like getting ahead of Pep Guardiola, blah blah blah. It's you just don't know. Just keep Mahrez, mate. Just keep Mahrez. I know he's starting the Champions League, and so did KDB. But it's such a sideways move, especially for a -4. It's not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah, I think that's quite conclusive. Ben, here we go. We'll do one for you. Start Sarr or Cody. Who are you going?
So Sarr's got a nice fixture against Everton, doesn't he?
Wolves are facing Leeds away.
Leeds away. I'd probably go for Ismail Sarr, based on the fact that I think he's got more potential to haul than Cody has of keeping a clean sheet with Rafinha in there. Obviously said I do like the potential of a Wolves defender, maybe off the bench like FPL Penguins doing. But I do think Ismail Sarr's got that potential. Like we've seen the Everton defence, it's not been the best. It's certainly improving, and they've had injuries and players have come back in. I think they got their full strength back for, if I'm correct and said, I think Kieran mentioned that the other day. So I think Ismail Sarr, for sure. No doubts about that at all.
Yeah, that's good. We'll move on to this last question. I think it's a nice way to end the show, actually, sort of wrapping things up. He's asked, rank your top 3 captaincy choices. I'm interested to hear your ranking. So we'll go Penguin first, and we'll go Ben, and then I'll go last. So who was your top 3 choices out of anyone in the game? You don't have to own them.
I'd say, like we talk about with Salah Vardy, it's going to be a tough one. I think with the ownership, I can see Salah scoring against you. I'm going to probably say, and he's a midfielder as well, so he gets an extra point or 2 as well. I'm going to say Salah top, Vardy second, Havertz. It's going to be, I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say this actually. I'm going to say Salah top, Havertz second, Vardy third. I think 2 clean sheets is it for Norwich last 2 games. I think Norwich might frustrate Chelsea. But I think Havertz, he's definitely going to start. He's going to start at false number 9. I think he's more than likely to probably get a double-digit haul without the captaincy on him. So, Salah, Havertz and Vardy for me.
Who are you thinking, Ben?
I mean, I'm probably gonna talk about sort of the same sort of thing. I think Salah's got to be top for me, just based on the form on his own, and United not being too great defensively this season, so he'll be top for me. I'll probably say Vardy second because he's showing more form than Kai Havertz, who I'd probably put third, very similar to FPL Penguin. I'd have Salah, Vardy, Havertz, and it kind of shows in my team where I've got Salah captain, Vardy vice, and Havertz just as a player on the pitch.
Yeah, it's nice that you have all three options, to be fair, in your team. For me, I'd totally agree, Salah top. United have only kept one clean sheet this season, and that was against Wolves away, and they still shouldn't have kept a clean sheet in that game. We had goal line clearances and whatnot there. For me, second, I'd probably look towards maybe like a Chelsea defender, either Chilwell or Alonso. I think Chilwell will probably play, but again, you're sort of risking it there. But I think the clean sheet's almost banked. I'd be shocked if Chelsea concede to Norwich. And then you've got the attacking threat as well. We've seen Chilwell score against Brentford last week. Alonso scored in previous game weeks. Obviously, Reece James as well. So their fullbacks are renowned for scoring and getting assists. And I think, the odds of them return is quite high. Third captaincy choice for me. I really do like the Vardy pick. I think over the long haul, he'll get sustained returns as he has done all season long. But I think I'll go Harry Kane. I think West Ham, Europa League, obviously, as well as Spurs. I think they haven't been too great defensively, West Ham. I think compared to last season anyway, where we all had Soufal or Cresswell, they were getting loads of attacking returns. It's not the same this season for me. And I think Harry Kane, he's got his first goal in the Premier League against Newcastle. I think the run will continue and he'll get a few more for me. So, that's our top three. Obviously, decide what you will. I think the renowned vote here is Salah is the top. I just don't see Liverpool not scoring at Old Trafford. I'll be shocked, to be honest. And that's coming from United fans. So let's see what happens. But again, I think bonus points are going to be a massive factor in terms of that. Whoever gets them is probably going to be the best captaincy pick for the week.
Yeah, for sure. And that wraps up another episode, another game week preview. Thank you again for watching, guys. Thank you, FPL Penguin, for coming on. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Any last words?
Thanks for watching, everybody, and hit that like button on the stream. Really enjoyed being on.
Yeah, thank you again. And we've left his links down below. So, go check FPL Penguin out. Always putting out great content pretty much everywhere, to be honest. You name it, he'll be on that platform. As always, please remember, like, comment, subscribe. I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And I've been the Penguin.
And we'll see you guys
later. Bye-bye. Have a good game.